Hello Gemini, so I'm doing your weekly tarot for July the 10th to the 17th, just to bring your awareness to an issue that we've been having on the channel as well. We have had problems with AI channels that have been stealing my content, replacing my voice with a robotic one, and then re-uploading the videos onto their own channels. Okay, so if you find my readings on any other channel that is not called Phoenix Keia Tarot, then you're going to be watching stolen content, and I definitely would appreciate you reporting them to YouTube, okay, because they're basically pretending to be me. Okay, right, so for your situation, you have got Adventurer and the Hare. And this one says to embrace the spirit of adventure and discovery in the journey of life. So this one's very much connected to the Knight of Wands in traditional tarot. It's all about being that explorer, taking those calculated risks. This is saying for you to be adventurers, to listen to your hunches as well, pay attention to your creative impulses also with this adventurer. Now it can also indicate that you're about to start something new, so listen, it's not quite the Fool energy, right? It is definitely more connected to that Knight of Wands. It might have an influence of the Fool there, with it being a new journey, a new adventure. But there's also this element of prior knowledge, right? And we can tell that because this individual is dressed for the occasion, right? They're dressed in a way that is very, very prepared. So I feel with this, that this week, Gemini, there is a journey, a new start, a fresh beginning here, but it's not entirely new to you. Okay, you have some prior knowledge, some prior experience pertaining to this new direction. Okay, and with the Hare, it's saying to trust your instincts and to follow them. So when you consider the hares or the rabbits, they are creatures that are predated on, and normally they are going to have a very high instinct. Okay, high instinct for danger, high instinct for everything. So yeah, you definitely do need to pay attention to your instinctual pulls this week. The hares can also indicate prosperity and abundance, fertility as well, like literally breed like rabbits. Yeah. So something that you're doing this week, Gemini, it is going to multiply, and I feel in quite unexpected ways as well. Right, so for example, if this is about financial investments, right, then those financial investments that you're making this week, they are going to multiply, because again, you followed your hunches, you listened to your instincts, and you've made all of the right moves at exactly the right time. Okay, so anything like that, it's going to be a really, really good week for you in that regard. As far as your own personal growth goes, it's saying, yeah, it's very good for that as well. And I feel that you're about to make a discovery about yourself this week that might be quite unexpected. Okay, so for example, trying something new for the first time and discovering, oh, I've got a natural affinity for that. I'm naturally really, really good at that, right? And then taking it a step further, multiplying on that, growing on that. So let's imagine you've never picked up a musical instrument a day in your life, right? This is just an example I'm pulling out of the sky here. So let's just say it's a guitar and you start strumming away, and then you realize, okay, yeah, my hand is moving quite naturally. I'm able to get a tune here. You know, it's one of those self-discoveries where the more you do it, the more that you practice it, the more you realize, I've really got something here. This could potentially become this could potentially become something really quite big, right? So yeah, I would say with that combination, definitely do keep an open mind, because there's no telling where those skills or where those discoveries are actually going to lead. Okay, all that they're saying is it's going to lead to really good things. Okay, Gemini. Right, so let's take a deeper dive into this message for you with the tarot, and we'll see what else is coming out for you. Yeah, the Eight of Wands. Again, Eight of Wands, that's a very fast moving energy. Okay, I feel with this one that it's really reaffirming that message of something you're doing is multiplying, and it's multiplying quickly. Can you tell us more? Can we have some specifics out here for Gemini, please? Your ambition knows no bounds. The Knight of Swords. Okay. Gemini, don't be too surprised if a lot of people are wanting to speak to you this week about working with them. Okay. I'm going to use a different deck in a minute to dig another layer into this one. This energy's off balance, the Emperor. Emperor off balance can indicate, oh gosh, what's that word called? Imposter syndrome, right? Be aware of that imposter syndrome, because if anything is potentially going to slow you down, it's going to be that. Okay, usually the Emperor energy, doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, or if you're a man or a woman, right? Makes no difference at all. Usually that's someone who is very straightforward, who's very self-assured without the arrogance. It's someone who knows exactly what they want. They know exactly how to get it. Very, very confident in their own abilities. It's the masculine state of doing over the state of being, which would be the Empress. This is still creation, right? Because they're both very creative energies, but this is a different type of creation. Yes, it is quite dominant in nature, but again, that's not necessarily a bad thing when it's applied correctly. So when you see such a self-assured energy coming out scattered like that, it can indicate imposter syndrome. Okay, Gemini. So this week, with the speed of which things are growing, things are developing, you might feel like you've taken off more than what you can chew. Okay. So yeah, look out for those feelings of being a little bit overwhelmed, or those feelings of, man, I'm going to run out of time. Okay, anything like that. The Emperor is a conqueror. Okay, so with careful planning and with you keeping this momentum going, you're going to be absolutely fine. Just keep on top of that imposter syndrome. So I'm going to leave that Emperor energy in the upright position so that you can focus on the positive qualities of that card. Okay. Can you tell us more? Thank you. The World. The World. The end of a cycle, and the cycle that you're ending this week, Gemini, is that cycle of being uncertain. It's that cycle of struggle, remembering that the World is typically a card of victory. Okay, there could also be closure here for you in some aspect. Okay, can you tell us more for Gemini? There might also be an opportunity for you to travel this coming up here, Gemini. If that's the case, then that looks to be a very prosperous move for you. Okay, and then you've got the Seven of Swords. Interesting. The World with the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords can sometimes be a bit of a warning sign, right? So I need to find out what is the intention behind this Seven of Swords before we go any further with this one. This one's off balance, and I think it's actually reversed and scattered. Yeah, the Magician. The Magician reversed and scattered. Gemini, I do want to say that somebody is going to try to rush you into making a decision, right? And it's going to be imperative that you do not allow this person to force an answer or a decision out of you before you genuinely feel ready, okay? If anybody's trying to put you in this mindset of FOMO, yeah, the fear of missing out on something, you're going to know that there's a trick that's being played, okay? Pay particular close attention to certain individuals around you. Could be Aquarius, could be Virgo, could also be another Gemini, but I'm not really feeling that, okay? Honestly, they could be anyone. They're just coming from a very sneaky, manipulative place, okay? Your instincts for danger are naturally heightened this week. So anything that even remotely gives you that ick feeling, then definitely don't try to make excuses for it, okay? Pay attention to it. You don't need to have the words to put to what it is that you're feeling, okay? That's not what the point is. The point is you acknowledge that icky feeling, you acknowledge what it is that your survival instincts are telling you, and you take action on that, okay, without ever needing to articulate it at all. Okay, there is something very, very dodgy here that's going on with this individual. So the intention behind this Seven of Swords, yes, you are being warned about someone being sneaky, someone being devious, manipulative, definitely somebody lying here, okay? The meanings of the cards change depending on what else accompanies that card, okay? Now, you've already had this message here about how you're needing to embrace the spirit of adventure and discovery for your life. So you're about to make an important discovery here about yourself, and I feel that that could well be a threat to this other individual who isn't necessarily wanting for you to find something out, right? Now, there could be a message here about genetics and who you're genetically related to that maybe this person doesn't want you finding out about. Maybe they've lied for so long about who is all connected and who is connected to you in that regard. Do you know what I mean? It could be a whole plethora of lots of different things. So the bottom line here is for you to pay particular attention to those who are determined on making out like you don't know better, right? That in of itself is going to be a huge warning sign, right? How are they responding to you whenever you ask a simple question? Are they flying off the handle? Are they trying to put the issue back onto you? Are they bringing up stuff from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago in order to basically try and deflect here from the real issue at hand? All of these things are going to be very, very important for you to pay attention to this week, Gemini, okay? I do feel that somebody is going to try to overpower you, so that you will stop asking questions, so that you'll stop digging, so that you'll stop making these discoveries, okay? And it's imperative that you do the exact opposite, which is to keep digging, keep asking questions, keep pulling on that thread, right? Can you tell us more for Gemini? Wow, that's quite an aggressive energy, that one, Gemini. I don't know if you saw where that landed. It was right here. It's scattered energy, okay, whatever it is. The Lovers, yeah, see, you're major arcana, and there was an aggressive force behind it. So again, when we really look at the cards and we study the energy that's accompanying it, the worst nightmare for whoever this person is, Gemini, is for you to discover your true talents, your true abilities, whatever they might be. They might even be spiritual abilities, okay? It doesn't have to be anything to do with the physical world at all. Basically, yes, you are coming out as being a huge #1 threat to them, threat to their control, a threat to their perceived power, their perceived influence, and all the rest of it, okay? There is an emphasis on communication and them being particularly worried that you would discuss with others, either on a large scale or a small one, what your discoveries have been. Okay, that's what they're afraid of the most. Okay, it's a bit of a twisted individual, but that's what it is. Right, so the catalyst, so why is this happening? Mirror, stay grounded in the present moment. Yeah, honestly, the catalyst, Gemini, you are holding up a mirror to this individual about all of the different ways that they have failed, and they have been hoping that the opposite of that was going to be true. Right, it is very, very important that when you look in the mirror, that you accept the person, the image that you see that is reflected back to you. And we're not just speaking physical, okay, we're speaking personality wise as well. Now, in order for you to stay grounded in the present moment, that is going to require you to find some sort of anchor point. And the biggest anchor point that's coming through with your energy, Gemini, is that reflection of who you are. You need to know with 100% certainty who the fuck you are. Okay, that is going to be your anchor point, because guaranteed when this nonsense here all starts kicking off, you're going to need that anchor point. That's showing me you having a very strong sense of self, you having a lot of confidence in your own abilities, in your own decision making. Okay, that's going to be your anchor point. Yeah, judgment, your higher self, you making the right call at the right time. Okay, this is you listening to your higher calling. You're making the final decision here with this judgment card, and you're not just hearing what it is that this person wants you to hear. You're hearing everything. You're even hearing what it is that they're not saying, which arguably is the most important thing for you to hear. And then you've got the World card that's coming out again, right? Some sort of completion here, you genuinely feeling like you're now in harmony with your intent, your direction in life. You feeling this sense of achievement, this sense of belonging. Remember what I told you before about the World card. It is a card of victory, and you've got the World card that's come out twice. Okay, so you're successfully closing out an old cycle here, And there is no bitterness with this energy. There's nothing here that indicates that, you know, you're holding grudges or that you're going to allow this person to stop you or slow you down in any way, shape or form. In fact, I'm picking up on a bit of the opposite. I'm speaking to a Gemini collective that actually feels everything on a very deep level. And a part of you does feel pity towards this individual because they are unable, at least for the time being, they are unable to follow their own journey the way that you're able to follow your own journey, right? That's probably why they keep trying to interject here into your life. That could be a part of it. But yeah, it's almost like it's saying that a part of you can't help but feel a little bit of pity for this person. Yeah, so you're closing out a cycle of some type, and that this is the catalyst for this person's response, okay? What's going on in your blind spot is Serene Sanctuary, and it says to find peace in moments of solitude. So this one's going to be a combination of the Hermit with like the Four of Swords in traditional tarot, okay? This is you cultivating that sense of inner peace, that sense of calm and serenity that no one else can interfere with, right? I feel as well that a lot of these discoveries that you're making this week, and again, I don't know the full extent of those discoveries. I'm not a psychic, I am an intuitive, so I can only read the strongest overall energies, okay? Ultimately, I feel here that, at least for the time being, you're going to be keeping the details of these discoveries that you're making to yourself until you can make sense of what it is that you found out first, okay? Yeah. Can you tell us more about this energy for Gemini, please? The Serene Sanctuary. Oh, okay, that was random. There's a lazy energy connected to that one. We'll get to that in a minute. You've got the Sun here, which is the happiest, most positive card in tarot, okay, in your blind spot. So you might not know it yet, Gemini, but things are really starting to look up for you, okay? The Sun is a lot of growth, it is optimism, it's truth, clarity, confidence, right? It's come out with the Five of Pentacles, which is a really odd combination here, Gemini. So maybe one minute you're feeling on top of the world with this Sun energy, and then the next minute you're feeling really quite low. Almost as if you feel like you're lacking in some capacity here. But that is actually an illusion, because you're not actually lacking anything at all, Gemini. Okay, this lazy energy, let's take a look at that one. The Hangman, okay, so somebody doesn't want to change up their perspective. Somebody doesn't want to think about like the bigger picture, or maybe this is someone who doesn't want to take your opinion on board, Gemini. Maybe they don't want to take your feelings into account, okay? You could be dealing with a Leo, a Pisces, or a Taurus that is very emotionally detached from maybe the needs of others, okay? So I need to clarify that one, because again, it's a bit of a strange message here to have, especially in your blind spot. honestly, what I'm feeling that this is trying to convey, Gemini, is that you're unknowingly caring towards another individual who isn't, gosh, I don't know how to say this, who doesn't care for you on such a deep level as what you care for them. Okay, it's reading like you're unknowingly being taken advantage of by this other individual. Okay, so that's why we need to clarify it. Can you tell us more about this energy for Gemini? The Knight of Pentacles. Okay. So you're being encouraged to slow down and take your time before you make any major decisions with this person. The Three of Cups, the King of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, because somebody, Gemini, you've got a very lazy, entitled, greedy individual in your midst. You do have strong earth energies coming through. Okay, so they might end up being an earth sign, or it's just someone who is very much hyper fixated on what they can get. Okay. Another issue I have with this energy here, Gemini, is this Three of Cups. It feels like it feels like there's a bit of a braggart here. Okay, someone who is, oh gosh, I don't even know if I want to say it, because ultimately this affects your own state of mind, your peace, your sanctuary, right? Let me get another deck. And I'll see if I can dig into this on another level here, Gemini. I am struggling with this energy quite a lot, actually, Gemini, because I'm seeing that you're helping this person, and not only are they taking your help for granted, they're taking you for granted, but they're also bragging about it as well. Can you tell us more about this energy for Gemini? Thank you. Ten of Pentacles. Okay. It could be a simple case, Gemini, of this person trying to take the kudos for your hard work, for your effort. Do you know what I mean? Let's imagine you've been working on something very, very hard for a very long time. You had to do it by yourself because there wasn't anybody around you who is willing to be supportive of you. Suddenly you make it big, right? And suddenly you've got all of this success and abundance and all the rest of it. And then you've got certain individuals who are wanting to be associated with you now because of the success that you have. Yeah, that's basically what I'm seeing here, and it's coming off of a possible earth sign or a Pisces individual. Okay, under the belief that if they are associated with you, then, you know, what, that they're going to get reputation, they're going to get kudos. Like, it's weird. It's just a really weird thing for anybody to do. Okay. But it is there, and it is in your blind spot. So you're needing to find peace within this chaos. Okay. Knowing how to separate your energy away from other people's. Okay, what's working for you this week? The Forest Goddess, and it says to honor your emotions and allow yourself to feel deeply. So please don't be punishing yourself for being one of these that feels everything on a very deep level. Do you remember how, and again, I had difficulties reading it because obviously I cannot bring myself these days to show the sheer depth of compassion for horrible people, the way that you're still showing depth of compassion and empathy towards this individual here. The fact that they have tried to use your feelings and your empathy against you as if your empathy was a weakness, and it isn't, it's a strength, right? You mustn't hold that against yourself here. Okay, so please don't feel ashamed. Those Geminis who have been taken advantage of here, because you do feel everything on a very, very deep level. Okay, this indicates that, look, they've made their decision, right? You didn't have any say in their free will decision. You do have a say now in how you're going to respond to it. Okay, so yeah, don't hold it against yourself. Basically, you do feel deeply, and that should be something that you're proud of, not made to feel ashamed of, right? Because let's be real, that is the vast majority of the issues that we're having on this planet, especially in this day and age, right? That there aren't enough people who have empathy and compassion towards others or towards animals, or do you know what I mean? It seems to be that the vast majority of people are actually selfish, greedy, cold, distant, shut down, shut off, right? And it is the strongest who retain their sense of humanity at the end of it all, right? You have kept a hold of your humanity where others have lost theirs. That's everything to be proud of. 9 of Wands. Empathy with boundaries. Okay. That's the major difference. Empathy with boundaries. And it is going to take time, it is going to take practice, but ultimately that does get easier. Okay, so what's going to work for you is to practice this empathy with boundaries, so that in the future, whenever anyone's got these wacky ideas in their head about, you know, trying to take advantage of your kindness, they're going to have a really difficult job of doing that. Okay. Simplify life. So this is how your situation is likely going to play out. And it says life is meant to be simple and easy. Okay, believe it or not, it actually is. We are supposed to be enjoying the experience of what it's like to be alive, right? There is a theory that we are like shards of the universe, if you will, that is experiencing life. Don't let superficial energies distract you from your true essence. That's literally the entire meaning of your reading this week. That's why I was having such a difficult job with it, because I know that this week I am reading for a small group of Gemini who are incredibly deeply gifted, deeply intuitive, and feels fucking everything, like literally everything. It's exhausting, right? So you must not allow superficial energies and superficial people to disrupt your peace, okay? To sap you of your life force, to drain you, okay? Keep it simple. It says simplicity and purity will lift your spirit, okay? Can you tell us more for Gemini? Thank you. Yeah, the Empress. divine feminine energies here with the Empress. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, right? Makes no difference. Empress energy belongs to us all. So the court cards, they are simply just aspects of our own personalities in any given moment. Okay, this is you stepping into your true form, your true essence, if you will, right? The Empress, it's literally the symbol of growth, fertility, abundance, birth, beauty, care, nurture. Okay, all of these beautiful qualities that, to be honest with you, and at the risk of sounding quite melodramatic as well, I don't mean to, I mean, we've already mentioned it anyway, about the vast majority of humanity has actually lost these qualities, right? They have, let's be real. And obviously, the older we get, the more jaded we become as well. This is you not becoming jaded, but you becoming wiser. Yeah? This is you showing the rest of us cold ice queens and kings how it's supposed to be done, right? The proper way of protecting yourself, the proper way of protecting your energy. And that does not involve becoming cold, distant, jaded, and, you know, all of those things that, I mean, hands up, yes, I have caught myself thinking very jaded thoughts, right? That's not the way that it's supposed to be done. It really isn't. And you're avoiding that particular trap, Gemini. So yeah, you're definitely becoming a good example for the rest of us. Okay, look, Four of Swords is your strongest overall message for this week. Rest, rejuvenation, healing, recovery, meditation, protecting your space, creating a little sanctuary here for yourself. That could be a literal physical place of sanctuary for you, or that could be an energetic one, right? This is your strongest point of focus for this week, Gemini. Your Four of Swords. Maybe there are a few things that you're needing to reconsider. Yeah, maybe there are certain things that you're needing to stop putting so much effort into. Yeah, and then putting those efforts into other things instead. Again, only you're going to know exactly where those areas are. But ultimately, this is about you making your own decisions here. Okay. Right, so let's get you some healing and guidance messages, Gemini. You have healing. Oh, okay, that was really, really random. I'm actually feeling all four of them. It's just the way that deck was then. It was quite abrupt. Yeah, so they're saying all of these are important messages, right? So your first one, if you're worried that you don't have the strength to move on, then think of how much strength you're using to hold on, and then redirect that energy and enjoy your life. Yeah, it's exactly that message there with that Four of Swords that I literally just gave you, okay? To reconsider what or who it is that you're putting your efforts and your energy into, and where perhaps that energy could be better utilized, okay? Don't worry, everything that you've been waiting for is on its way. Progress is being made, even if you can't yet see the results. So much is happening behind the scenes for the creation of your dreams. Trust the process, okay? Yeah, never underestimate the power of trust in the process. And that applies to everything in life. When you hold on to the past, it stops you from living in the present. Release any old hurts or worries or regrets. Commit to being in the here and now. Forgive yourself for where you think you may have been wrong. You deserve inner peace. Let it go. yeah, you don't want to become, when you get to my age, Gemini, you do not want to realize that you have become bitter, twisted, cold version of your old self. Okay. There's that one. Prioritize self-healing right now. Put your needs above others for once. So yeah, like literally there's a time and a place for everything, isn't there, Gemini? And apparently for far too long, you've been putting the needs of everyone else first, and like your needs haven't been getting met at all. Okay, so at least just for this week, Gemini, prioritize your own needs. Okay, there is nothing selfish about self-care. It is time to focus on you. Self-healing takes time and a lot of self-love. Remember, open wounds don't heal into scars overnight. Take the time you need in order to feel happier and healthier within yourself. There is no rush. Okay? So there is no rush. There is no time limit put on how much progress you should have made or should be making and by when. Okay, this is your journey. It happens in your own sweet time. Okay, and if you frequently give yourself permission to doodle, wander, and to be totally unproductive, and you actually relish such interludes, I can guarantee that your genius, creativity, and productivity will increase exponentially, aka create for the joy of creating, not because you feel like there's some sort of pressure or deadline or responsibility that's put on you. You know what, Gemini, we don't have to be doing things, something, anything all of the time, right, to be productive. Some of you guys, you might have come from my generation as well, you know, brought up on crap such as Thomas the fucking Tank Engine. What was the message behind that? It was twisted. The message behind that was you had to be useful. If you weren't, do you know what I mean? If you weren't useful, what happened to the engines that weren't useful? They were bricked up under the bridge while they were still alive, bricked up there forever because apparently they were not useful engines. What the fuck kind of message was that to be brought up on? Yeah. A lot of people have got this thing in their head, especially in this day and age. If I'm doing nothing, then I'm not useful. What happened to just going outside and watching the wind through the trees? What happened to just sitting down and watching a fucking bug on a leaf and not actually needing to do anything? What happened to that? It's time to get back to a little bit more of that there, Gemini. Okay, that's what this card is telling you. So let's take a message of one of your emergency affirmations for especially stupid days. One of our non-serious decks. Okay, so don't take this one to heart. It's just a little bit of light-hearted fun at the end of your reading. And your emergency affirmation for this week, Gemini, is don't let anyone tell you to behave, except maybe a lawyer. Yeah, but that is what I have for you. I genuinely hope that that reading has been helpful. For personal readings with me, my website is phoenixkeiatarot.com. Just to let you all know as well, before you place your booking, there are strict limits now on my private readings, so do make sure that you get booked in with me sooner rather than later, because I am literally about to take a couple of weeks hiatus. Okay, and I want to get everyone's private readings done and finished before I go on holiday. Okay, so make sure that you get your booking in with me sooner rather than later. Thank you so very, very much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one. YouTube is going to recommend to you, Gemini, one of your readings that you have definitely missed out on, so stick around to the very, very end for that one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.